Why 3D printing is financially viable for hip implants. First, let us understand why a hip replacement is required in the first place. The three most common disease mechanisms that lead to a hip replacement surgery include osteoarthritis, bone dysplasia, and fracture due to loss of bone density. Osteoarthritis is a type of arthritis which occurs when the cartilage at the end of bones gradually deteriorates. Bone dysplasia is a genetic condition that causes abnormalities in the bone and cartilage growth. The bone can also be fractured as a result of a low bone mineral density. The symptoms of hip osteoarthritis include moderate to severe pain in the hip area, swelling, stiffness, or the loss of flexibility. There are a number of non-surgical treatments that can be utilized in order to minimize the effects of the symptoms. These include direct hip injections to reduce inflammation, lifestyle changes such as losing weight, taking nutritional supplements, pain relievers, or even physical therapy.
What does hip replacement surgery involve? Let's watch a quick video which demonstrates what happens during a hip replacement surgery. "3D printing was first invented in the early 1980s, as the design and manufacturing process. 3D printing is a form of additive manufacturing in which the final product is created by layering different materials together. The most commonly used materials for 3D printing are titanium, ABS and polylactic acid. 3D printing reduces the amount of waste material generated. Waste scrap is a huge problem in industries. Companies generate tons of scrap during the intermediary processes, and most of it is either recycled or dumped. As 3D printing uses a fixed amount of material, the amount of waste generated is minimized and therefore saving costs. Additive manufacturing processes are considered to be cleaner processes than traditional subtractive manufacturing processes because the produced waste material is reduced, the design is optimized, and the resultant pieces are lighter. Studies report that over 40% of waste material can be avoided using AM and 95% of unused material can be reused. A study conducted by Wu illustrated that a 3D printed model of the hip could range from $200 to $1,000. The material costs for printing are estimated as follows. Titanium powder costs around $427 per kilogram. ABISS costs approximately $2.78 per kilogram. Polylactic acid costs approximately $5.40 per kilogram. Costs for the segmentation software required for printing approximates to $20,000 per year. 3D printers suitable for medical devices approximately costs $12,000. In Europe, over 600,000 total hip arthroplasties take place each year, and approximately 1.4 million total hip arthroplasties take place each year worldwide. The hip replacement market size was valued at $5.90 billion in 2020 and has a projected growth of 4.7% annually. According to a report conducted by Osteoarthritis Research Society International, it was predicted that by the year 2050, approximately 130 million people will suffer from osteoarthritis, which would create a large potential market for hip prosthetics. A study conducted in 2008 and published in JAMA Internal Medical found that a larger portion of osteoarthritic cases in the hip was suitable for prosthetic replacement when compared with the knee. From the previous chart, it can be visualized that of the total 7,577 patients in the report, that 211 men and 295 women were suitable for a hip prosthetic, while only 109 men and 165 women were suitable for a knee prosthetic. This factor can also be accounted for the potential larger market for 3D printed hip prosthetic. A study published by Dr. Schmerling of the Harvard Medical School found that a larger portion of hip replacements required revision surgeries. It was found that of a sample population of 60,000 hip prosthetic patients, 4.4% required revision surgeries after 10 years, which jumped to 15% after 20 years. Comparing this against a sample of 55,000 knee prosthetic patients taken found that 3.9% required revision surgery after 10 years and 10.3% after 20 years. From a financial standpoint, hip implants can be more beneficial. Hip replacement surgery is very common in the United States, where the cost widely varies from state to state. In Alabama, a hip replacement can be found for approximately $20,000, while in New York, the average cost of a hip replacement is closer to $60,000. According to Hekin Clinic, the average knee replacement surgery costs around $50,000 in the United States. Thanks for watching.